Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day, as we know it at work. So we're back in the Enchanted Wood. We're back with the lovely Emily Quick, Tinker
and
Quick.
we're finally showing the pictures again.
Exactly. We've had the kind of like the 3 or 4 days or however much it was of chapters appearing in one book that didn't appear in the other. So we've got over that little hurdle, and we, as Emily says, we're back in our regular book. So we're at the chapter called The Army of Red Goblins. So if I take over as the picture person, and Emily will do the reading of. I think a few people enjoyed the last couple of days, and we've been showing the recipes. So I think people have enjoyed the various things that they can make. Google buns, etc. Okay, The Army of Red Goblins.
One day, Mother said that since she had to be out for the whole day, she would prefer that the children ask the old saucepan man to come and stay with them and bring any other 2 friends they had made. Good, said Joe. We'll ask Moonface and Silky. Beth wrote a note and gave it to the little white goat to take to Moonface. The white goat was a wonderful creature. It gave the most delicious milk, it ran errands, and if any of the hens got out, it found them and drove them back. It was most useful. The goat took the note in its mouth and ran off to the Enchanted Wood. It came to the faraway tree and bleated to the red squirrel, who peeped out from his hole low down in the trunk. The squirrel took the note and bounded up to Moonface with it. Moonface was delighted and shouted down to Silky, who came up and read it. We'll ask the old saucepan man as soon as Mr. What's-his-name is asleep, said Moonface. The children haven't asked what's his name, so Saucepan will have to creep down the tree with us without telling him. They sent a note back to the little white goat, saying that they would arrive at 3 o'clock that afternoon. The children were excited. Mother was preparing to leave, and the girls began to make the cottage look pretty with jars of flowers. Beth baked some chocolate cakes, and Franny made some toffee. Joe made up some sandwiches. We'll have a wonderful time, he said. I hope the saucepan man won't be too deaf this afternoon. By 3 o'clock, everything was ready. The children were neat and clean. The table looked fine with its sandwiches, cakes and toffee. Beth went to the gate to look for their visitors. She couldn't see them coming down the lane. They are late, she called to the others. I expect Saucepan Man has got tangled up with his saucepans or something. 3:30 came and no visitors. The children were rather disappointed. Perhaps Moonface read my letter wrongly and thought it was 4 o'clock, said Beth. But when 4 o'clock came and still no Moonface, Silky or Saucepan Man arrived, they got really worried. I do hope nothing has happened, said Beth, feeling upset. There's all our nice food and nobody will eat it. We'll wait a bit longer, then we'll eat our share, said Joe. So when 5 o'clock came and nobody had arrived, the children sadly ate half of the food themselves. Something's happened, said Joe gloomily. Oh dear, what do you think it is? Said Beth, alarmed. Could we go and see? No, said Joe, not now anyway. Mother will be back soon. We better go tonight. The rope is let down the tree for us to pull ourselves up, and it won't take long to climb up. We really must find out what's wrong, said Beth, clearing the plates away. We'll take their share of the food with us. So that night, when it was quite dark, the 3 children slipped out of bed, dressed, and crept out of the back door. They took a lantern that Joe had found, for there was no moon that night. Joe swung it in front of him, and they could see where to walk. Down the dark lane they went, over the ditch and into the Enchanted Wood. The trees were whispering very loudly together that night. Wish, 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 they said. Oh, how I wish I knew what they were saying, said Franny. Come on, said Joe. We better not be too long, Franny. We want to be back by daylight. They made their way through the dark wood. As there was no moon, there was no fairy folk about at all that night. The children soon came to the faraway tree and looked for the rope, but there was no rope at all this time, and they had begun to climb up as usual, holding onto the boughs and branches carefully, for it was very difficult to see. Before they had got farther than to the branches up, a strange thing happened. Someone caught hold of Joe's shoulder and pushed him roughly. Joe fell, caught hold of the lowest branch, and just saved himself in time. Who did that? He cried angrily. He undid his lantern from the belt where he had put it whilst climbing, and flashed it up the tree, calling to Beth and Franny to go no farther. And standing grinning in the lower branches of the tree were 4 red goblins, pointed ears, wide mouths, and wicked little eyes. "No one is allowed to come up to the tree now," said one of the goblins, "and no one is allowed to come down either." "But why not?" asked Joe, astonished. "Because it's our tree now." "Your tree? What nonsense!" said Joe. "We've come to see our friends who live in the tree. Let us pass." "No," said the goblins, and they grinned widely. "You can't come up." "It's no good," said a tiny voice beside Joe. "The goblins have taken everyone prisoner in the tree. If you go up, they'll only push you down or take you as prisoners too." Joe flashed the lantern downwards, and the children saw that it was a little red squirrel speaking, the one who looked after the cushions for Moonface. "Hello," said Joe. Do tell me what happened. I can't understand it." "Oh, it's easy enough to understand," said the squirrel. "The land of the red goblins came to the top of the faraway tree. The goblins found a hole that leads down through the clouds and pulled down it. They took everyone prisoner. Moonface and everyone else are locked up in their houses in the tree trunk. I can tell you Mr. What's-his-name and the angry pixie have nearly battered their doors down in rage." "But why had the goblins locked them up?" asked Beth in surprise. "Well, they wanted some magic spells the tree dwellers know," said the squirrel. "They are going to keep them all locked up till they tell the spells. Isn't it dreadful?" "Oh dear," said Franny. "Whatever can we do to help them?" "I don't know," said the squirrel sadly. "If only you could get up to them, you might be able to make some plan. But the goblins won't let anyone up the tree." "Whisher, whisher, whisher, whisher," whispered the trees loudly. "You know, I can't help feeling that the trees want to tell us something tonight," said Beth suddenly. "I always feel that they are whispering secrets to one another, but tonight I feel like that they want to tell us something." "I shouldn't be surprised," said the squirrel. The faraway tree is king of the wood, and now that trouble has come to it, all of the other trees are angry. Perhaps they want to help us." "Whisher, whisher, whisher," said the trees loudly. "Put your arms around the tree trunk and press your left ear to the tree," said the squirrel suddenly. "I've heard it said that there is only that is the only way to hear a tree's words." Each of the children found a small tree. They put their arms around the trunk and pressed their left ears to the trees, and then they could quite clearly hear what the trees were whispering. "Help the faraway tree dwellers," the leaves whispered. "Help them." "But how can we?" whispered back the children eagerly. "Tell us." "Go up the slippery slip," said the trees in their leafy voices. "Go through the trapdoor and then up the slippery slip." "Oh!" cried the children at once. "Of course! Why didn't we think of it ourselves?" "Shh!" said the squirrel in alarm. "Don't let the goblins hear you. What did the trees say?" They said we were to go through the trapdoor and up to the slippery slip," said Joe in a low voice. "We can get up to Moonface then. It's a wonderful idea." "Come on then," said Beth, and the 3 of them ran to the faraway tree and felt about for the little trapdoor. Ooh, another adventure.
Dun, 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 dun. That's exciting then, isn't it? So the goblins have taken over the tree and they're going to have to climb up the slippery slip and rescue everybody.
I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know how it's going to, but the next chapter is called A Most Exciting Night. So it's clearly going to be an exciting night of climbing up through the hole at the bottom of the slippery slip, climbing up and saving the day.
That's also going to be quite
Hurrah.
hard though. But to be fair, it's never the children who save the day, so I guess they need to save the day for one.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So I'll be back in the chair tomorrow with Squirtle, reading A Most Exciting Night and hopefully the rescue of all of the characters in the faraway tree. So until tomorrow, TTFN.
Ta-ta! Bye!
Bye now. Bye.